Hello, this is Space Marine 2112 here. Today on I know it's really early in the morning, but it is 1 week since Dream Theater released their Parasomnia album. It was last Friday, so I thought, you know what, let's do a ranking video on it because I haven't done Dream Theater yet. I will probably have to do them again when their career is over because let's be honest, they are still I think they're still hitting it in their prime right now. Parasomnia was amazing. So I'm like, let's go ahead and do a tier list on it. And this particular tier list seems to be in the order that the albums came out, so it is ordered in some fashion, which should make this a little bit easier. And this should be fun. So let's go ahead and go through these. First, we got When Dream and Day Unite, their first album. Now, I know that it had Charlie Dominici, or however you pronounce that. He's on the vocals, but you know what? I actually still sufficiently love this album. I think it has that classic Dream Theater sound to it. You got Kevin Moore on the keyboards, which I think he was still an excellent keyboardist. It has that very early 90s classic Dream Theater sound. Yes, the vocals are not quite as good. I don't know why my cat is attacking my arm right now. That's weird. Um, anyway, yeah, it does not have James LaBrie's classic vocals when you think of Dream Theater on it, but I still think it's a pretty decent album. They have not really hit their stride quite yet, but I mean, you can hear what they're really getting to. The Yitzy jam on it is amazing, and really, I like a lot of the songs, like Light the Fuse, Get Away, The Killing Hand, The One Who Helped Set the Sun. I mean, all those songs are just great. I mean, if you look at it from a vocal perspective, no, it is not the strongest, but I still think it's a really good album. And I did not rank these again beforehand, kind of like my other ranking videos, to just see what is going to happen here as I get these put on here. I also did not did not go through beforehand to just determine how many per row there's going to be. I should have really. There's none of these that are going to be a D. Maybe we'll get to that later. So anything that I put down here is probably not actually going to be a D. I shouldn't have probably put it that far because these are all extraordinary albums. So we'll see where this goes. But right now I'm going to put When Dream and Day Unite at a B. Still not quite there, but they are. The set. You can see what they're about to become, and they've got great potential at this point. And then you see what they become. So they got Images and Words coming up next, which, in my opinion, again, we're gonna get to part two of Metropolis here, Scenes from a Memory, which is right up there with it. In my opinion, again, it's kind of like with when I went through ELO. Out of the Blue is a fantastic album. It might be their best album, but it is a double album. There's a lot more songs on it. It's not quite as concise. If you take all the best bits of Scenes from a Memory, which is pretty much the entire album, let's be honest, but if you take all the best bits and make it into a single album that's a lot easier to listen to, and you can kind of pick and choose songs, then I believe that this is my favorite album. I've kind of gone back and forth depending on the day. If I'm looking for a story, I'll probably go for Scenes from a Memory. If I'm going for just individual songs, I'm going to go to Images and Words. Again, we still have Kevin Moore on the keyboards here, but we now have James LaBrie on the vocals. He's killing it at this point. I know that, there's something that happened where he got, food poisoned. Or something happened where his voice got screwed up around this phase here. I'm not quite sure what happened. He's not quite with it on the current tour, but I mean, hey, I can't sing myself. I'm not gonna blame him if he's struggling in his 60s to sing. I mean, Geddy Lee had the same issue, so you know what? I'm not gonna comment on that. Anyway, on the albums, LaBrie's voice, awesome. So then we get to Awake. Now, this album, I have every single song on it added to my playlist, so I can't really say that I don't like it a lot. I like it a lot, but I think it is a definite step down, especially since some of the songs are not quite as, crazy and have a lot of drums in them. Like, I know, Space Dyed Vest and a couple of those, they're very cool sounding, but they're not quite as upbeat, like, fast tempo, lots of drumming type stuff. I mean, it's more kind of spooky almost in a way. I think it's an amazing looking album cover. Really makes you think about what the heck's going on here. I think it's a good album. Um, I'm not gonna place it any higher than B though. I gotta be honest, and well, I'll probably put it better than Dream and Day Unite, but yeah, it's not my favorite album. A lot of people have this up in their tops, their top couple rankings, from what I've been able to tell. It's just not quite that for me, so I'm gonna put it down here at B. Again, it's very hard for me to rank these because there's very few that I dislike at all. Now we got Falling into Infinity here, which, well, I wish they would have added a Change of Seasons because a Change of Seasons would have been up here in the S and A tier. I know that's technically after Falling into Infinity, I think, or is it before? No, it's before. Yeah, it's 1995. Um, I'm gonna still put it. Okay, so just imagine there's a Change of Seasons, and a Change of Seasons is like an A. I can't really put it up at an S because it has a lot of covers on it, but I mean, if you just put the song Change of Seasons, I mean, amazing song. I guess I get why it's not on here. It's really only one original song, but I mean, just a fantastic song. Um, Now, then you go to Falling into Infinity, and here's the thing: I have gained more appreciation for this album as the years have gone by. The keyboardist Derek Sherinian is pretty decent on it. Again, it's not the classic sound, it's not the future sound with Jordan Rudess, but it is good. Um, I guess they were trying to, like, the studio, or not the producers were trying to get them to make a more radio friendly sound. I guess they kind of accomplished that a little bit, but it still had their progginess, so it really didn't work out for them still. I don't know. There's some good songs on this. Again, I still have every single song from it on my playlist because I at least like them to some degree. They're better than a lot of the crap that's coming out nowadays, for most bands. So I'm gonna say that this is a good album. I actually like the demos better, like when they had You or Me instead of You Not Me, and then Raise the Knife is really good, and some of the demos I think are better than the actual songs on the album. They also have Metropolis Part 2 demo version on those demos, the Lost Not Forgotten Archives. Great stuff. Um, but I don't know. It's not one of my, again, some people appreciate it more than others. I do appreciate it a lot more now than I used to, but I just can't put it up here with these other Dream Theater albums that I've come to know and love. Now, this may shift a little bit as I get to the latter years, the Mangini years, which, again, Mangini, great drummer. He's from Extreme, that band, which is pretty good themselves, but it's not quite to the same level as Portnoy's album, so I might, we'll figure that out later. Straight up to S for Seems from a Memory. I kind of go back and forth a little bit um, between this album and Images and Words, but the thing about this one is that it's a story. So if I hear it, wait, is it a double album? I can't remember. I mean, it's 12 songs. It might be a single album. Maybe I'm imagining that's a double album. Anyway, it is a story. So when I start hearing songs from this album, I mean, you can listen to the songs individually, but when I hear a song from this album, I want to keep going. Any of their concept albums, really, it's just like if I hear a song, I gotta queue up the rest of it, or at least create a suite of songs that makes sense, like its own little subplot or something. So I'm gonna place it slightly below Images and Words just because, in general, if I'm listening to my playlist on a shuffle, or if I'm looking for particular Dream Theater songs, I'm looking for individual songs. But again, on a day-to-day basis, I might go back to this one more so than this one. They're both fantastic. Very hard to separate them, but that is where I'm going to put them for now. We got 6 Degrees, which is a fantastic album as well. I mean, it's, again, just banger after banger on these albums. You got, then this one is a double album. I know that much. You got the first part of the album, which got Glass Prison, Blind Faith, Misunderstood, Great Debate, Disappear, all fantastic songs. And then you got, the 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence song itself, which is like a 48-minute song. So this one, again, it's got the story, but it's also got the individual songs, and I think they're both great. It's got the beginnings of the 12-step suite in it, which I think is just an amazing suite of songs that keeps going all the way till Black Clouds. Uh, Gosh, I'm gonna guess that it's gonna be like three per row. If we got four, then I might have to mix it up a little bit. I'm gonna put it at A for now because I like the next album slightly better. It's got a heavier edge, and man, I tell you what, sometimes I'm down for some heavy Dream Theater. And so I come to this and I start listening to like Stream of Consciousness or As I Am, one of the greatest songs they got, In the Name of God, all just endless sacrifice. I mean, this album is loaded. I think Vacant is like the wimpiest song on the album. I think even that song's good. So I gotta put Train of Thought up here. Just because, sometimes I want their more classic stuff, and sometimes I wanna jam, man. I wanna get that heaviness going. So I'm gonna put that there for now, and we'll see where it ends up. Another highly controversial album, from what I've been able to see from a lot of the other people that try to rank these. I thoroughly enjoy this album. There's some songs that are kind of hit or miss on certain days. Like I Walk Beside You, there's parts of it that I don't really care as like the chorus I don't really care for as much in that song. But some of the song is still amazing. I love Panic Attack, Sacrifice Sons, Octavarium, the title track of the album is one of my favorite Dream Theater songs of all time. It was one of the first songs I heard besides the songs and Images and Words, and I was just like, holy cow, how they could come up and orchestrate such a just massive epic like that and have all these sections and have it flow so beautifully and just the orchestrations of it, like, because it's pretty much like there's an orchestra playing with them, and they did for one of the live tours, which, again, I wasn't as into them when they were doing that. I was like, really, really young. So now when I go back and see it, I'm like, holy cow, that's amazing. So I don't know if I like it as much as 6 Degrees, though, in terms of, like, every song being good or not. I mean, even 6 Degrees, I guess there's a little bit... I don't know. I'm going to put them both at A, though. They could switch on any given day, I would say, just depending on my mood. I mean, the title track alone almost makes this... And These Walls... I'm just going through the songs again. These are difficult. This is a difficult ranking right here. I love both of these albums. I'm just going to keep them there, and I'm just going to say that they're pretty much tied. Then you got a Systematic Chaos here from 2007. It's a good album. Again, it's got that heaviness from Train of Thought, I personally think, with little bits of their sound from Octavarium, but... Again, Constant Motion is amazing. In the Presence of Enemies, it's really dark. I don't really know exactly what they're talking about. As a Christian, I'm like, is this a satanic song? I don't know what's going on in it. But it sounds amazing. Forsaken, which is like about vampires, I guess. Like very kind of dark themes. And again, another part of this 12-step suite. I think this album's excellent as well. Gosh, this is going to be freaking difficult, isn't it? All right. Again, I'm kind of going on the 3 per row thing. How many we got left here? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so one row is going to get 4, and I'm going to make that the S tier. That's going to get 4, but we're going to figure out which one of these goes up to S tier. I have not quite had enough time to sit with this to put it up to S tier. I think it's an extremely good album. We'll get to that one, though. I'm going to put this at A for now. We'll see where it goes. It might go down to the upper part of B because we got Black Clouds and Silver Linings next, which is, again, I'm not going to look at the deluxe edition. The deluxe edition is very good. I like the covers that they do in that too. But, because you got Nightmare to Remember is a great one. I like that beautiful agony section of it, actually, probably weirdly better than the rest of it, even though I love the rest of it too. It's just kind of, it's like creepily beautiful in a way. Like, it's like a terrible scene and everything. Like, you're in this doctor's emergency room, not knowing what the heck's going on. You just awoke. You don't know where your family is, but just the sound of that section of the song is just so eerily beautiful that I gotta give credit to it. Rite of Passage is good. I actually think Wither is a good song. That one, I think, could have even been a radio hit in some places. It's not as heavy or anything, but it's quite good. Shattered Fortress is good. Best of Times is almost kind of a tearjerker type song there. Um, and then Count of Tuscany, obviously one of the greatest songs they got in their repertoire. I don't know. Ugh, I don't know if I like it as much as these three, but it's got some bits on it that could be better than any of these three. So this is a difficult one. Maybe I'll even make the A tier one have all four. I'm just gonna put it like this for now. I, Hey, that's what makes these ranking videos fun, though, because it's a time for me to also try to get this through my mind. It's very hard to rank some of these bands, especially with how good these albums are. Um, here's an unpopular opinion. Hold on. I like Falling into Infinity. Or sorry, yeah. Sorry, I keep looking. I was like, oh, he's gonna fall off there into infinity now. Dramatic turn of events. Sorry, I'm an idiot. I actually really like this album. I know it's the first Mangini album, and there's a lot of people that give the drum sounds a crap on it, and you know what? I agree. The drums are not nearly as good, but the sound is still the classic kind of Dream Theater sound that they've been kind of going with. I like every single song on it, especially Breaking All Illusions and Bridges in the Sky after the, beginning monk throat singing, whatever the heck, or Mongol throat singing, whatever all that is. Build Me Up, Break Me Down's great, On the Backs of Angels. Um, let's see, Outcry is a good song. There's some kind of more mellow type songs on here, like This Is the Life, Far From Heaven, but even those are pretty good. Beneath the Surface, I guess. Lost Not Forgotten's good. I thoroughly enjoy this album. It's not going to be up here with their, when they were their golden age of albums here, but it's good. It's good. I would even put it above, people would really hate me if I did that. Now, Awake is more classic. Okay, but on any given day, these could switch. I do really like this one though, so I'm not going to put it any further down than that. I do think they're more refined than the first album though, so I can't possibly put it any lower than the first. And actually, if we're going to be shifting things down, I might have to shift this one down. We'll see what happens. Because Parasomnia is going to go somewhere, and I don't want to put it... Anyway, we'll see. Okay, self-titled album. It's good. Again, all these are good. Even even the Astonishing. Every single song of this album is pretty decent. Again, it does not sound like their golden era, as I'm going to say, of albums, like when they had Mike Portnoy. Again, it's not all Mike Portnoy, but Mike Portnoy is a huge influence on the band. His drumming, his writing, his backing vocals, just everything. The way he kind of helps the band come together, that is the best era of the band. And this album's quite good. The Looking Glass was, I think, the first thing. No, it was The Enemy Inside, and then The Looking Glass was after that. I don't know. When these singles came out, I really got into them. I really do like the album. I think the album cover's a little bit boring, but I guess, it's a self-titled album, so, what can you expect? But, kind of like, White Album for the Beatles, or, it's kind of like their Black Album. I don't know. It's good. But I'm not going to put it any higher than a B, possibly. Because I kind of like that one better, actually. I'm going to put it as C. And I'm actually going to put it in between these two. Huh. Yeah, that seems right to me. Astonishing D. No, I'll talk about the Astonishing. It tries to do what Seems from Memory did, but it's got a lot of little tiny bits and pieces in it that are just like sound effects trying to put the story together. I think the album is way too long. There's just a lot of songs that don't really fit on it. I think if they put the main songs and made it more concise and just made it like one album, I think it would have been better. I think there's some decent stuff on here. You got The Gift of Music. I actually like A Savior in the Square. 3 Days is pretty good. Tempting Offer's good. Moment of Betrayal, Heaven's Code. Um, I can't remember. I don't think there's anything else on there that really attracted me. Anyway, maybe When Your Time Is Good. There's a couple that I think I remember being decent enough. I don't know. It's the worst Dream Theater album by far. They just didn't quite. I mean, the story itself is cool. I'd buy the book. It's kind of like 2112 in a way, really. I think they probably took their idea from that. They were inspired, but it's just not really a good Dream Theater album to me. It's got bits of it that are good, but it just doesn't match up to their other stuff. Now, this album, the next album here, Distance Over Time, I think this is personally my opinion is the best of the Mangini era. You got Untethered Angel, which is great. Paralyzed is great. It's got a lot of heavy stuff. I really love Barstool Warrior. That's my favorite song in the album. You got Room 137. I mean, I don't really know what the heck that song's about. Don't know what a couple of these are about, actually. But yeah, Pale Blue Dot's good. Viper King, even like the bonus track there, that's pretty good. At Wit's End. I mean, I think every single song on this album is pretty darn good, and I really like Barstool Warrior, which is why I'm glad they're bringing it onto the set list for this 2025 tour. I'll be seeing him here in about a month, so I'm really excited about that. Up in Chicago, gonna be driving like 6 hours to see him. So, first time I'll ever be able to see Mike Portnoy live, because I did not know about him and Neil Morris until I started getting into Neil Morris this last year. So, too little, too late for that. But now I can see him with Dream Theater, so I'm excited about that. But anyway, Distance Over Time, I'm gonna put here. Depending on the day. Again, drums not as good on this one, but I think I might like the songs better on this one in general. But then Barstool, I don't know. I think this one sounds better. I think this one has better songs. If you had the same sound from this album and put it onto this album, this one would definitely be higher. It might even be higher than Awake, but it's just not quite there. So we're not going to do that. Okay, then we got, what was the name of this one? View from the Top of the World. Again, I thought this one was pretty good, but it just kind of got lost for me. I listened to all the songs, I listened to them several times, and it just kind of didn't pop for me. If you listen to any individual song, and I can't tell you anything wrong with the songs. I mean, heck, I think they got some kind of award or something for finally, I think it was what was it, Invisible Monster or The Alien? One of those got some sort of award, like on the metal charts or something. I mean, it's a good album. There's nothing, and then A View from the Top of the World is a pretty good epic. Nothing that just really stands out and makes the album like, oh my gosh, So I'm going to put it down here. I would even put it like this. Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen there. Okay. Now, Parasomnia. I like every single song on it. Again, it's very good. It's got the classic sound back. We're back, baby. Is it the best of their albums of this era? I think I'm going to have more time with it. There's callbacks, especially in Midnight Messiah and stuff. It's very heavy. The double kick is going to town there. The Shadow Man Incident, great song. I actually kind of like some of the songs like Bend the Clock and Dead Asleep, a whole ton of a lot. Well, In the Arms of, I mean, really, I can't really say there's a song on the album that's bad. Are We Dreaming? I think that's like a little interlude into the next song, if I remember. That one I don't have on my playlist because I think it's just a short little thing. But other than that, every single song is fantastic. So I'm going to do... Let me look at Dark Clouds again and just think about this, because this is a difficult one. I mean, I don't like Dark Clouds quite as much as these other ones. I mean, if you put Count of Tuscany, if you made every song as good as Count of Tuscany, this would be way up here. But I think I'm going to move everything down one. And I'm going to put this B. I mean, sorry, A, because we have the S tier. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Parasomnia is very good, but I haven't had enough time to really let it simmer in. Now, unlike, gosh, I'm already forgetting the name of this one because I just haven't. A View from the Top of the World, that's it. I mean, even though I've had some more time with this one than this one has already sat with me better than this one, so that's telling you something. Um, I cannot put this any higher than A right now. It might slowly go up. It's got the heaviness of Train of Thought and Systematic Chaos, and it's got a lot of callbacks to their earlier stuff, scenes from a memory, images, and words and such. Um, it's got the sound. It is there. It is definitely in the mix here. I just have not had the opportunity to really figure out where exactly it stands in all this. It's definitely not B or below, but I don't know if it's quite S tier either. I think they're just getting back into it. I think even the next album with Portnoy back is going to be better, but we will see where this goes. As for the list in general, I think this looks pretty good to me. On any given day, this one might switch with Octavarium, Systematic Chaos might even switch with them. I mean, all classic songs there, you can't go wrong. Parasomnia is very good. Again, Black Clouds and Silver Linings, I wish I could bring it up here. I'm trying to make it fair, though. I gotta, I can't just put them all in S tier and put Astonishing down in D tier. And so I gotta try to make this more interesting. And this is about what I think. Yeah. Might have to listen to Awake again because I don't know. I feel like this is a fair spot for Awake. I mean, it is a definite step down from Images and Words. It is still their classic sound. They still, I really like Kevin Moore's keyboards, but yeah, I just don't think it quite. I don't go back to this album quite as much as some of these, so I can't really put it any higher. And then these two can switch on any given day, Distance Over Time, and a Dramatic Turn of Events. So, I mean, I think this is fair for now, but they could switch. It's mainly the drumming and just the sound of the album. If that was better, this one would definitely be up there. First album, I think it has a classic sound, but again, they don't have James LaBrie on vocals, and they're not quite refined yet, but I still think, they got the makings of a great band in them. This one gets lost in the mix for me. Heck, you know what? Yeah, thinking about it, I actually almost come back to these songs stand out more to me than the ones on View from a Top of the World. I do like the album cover here better. It's a much prettier one to look at while you're listening to the music, but I gotta be honest, I think I like Dream Theater self-titled a little bit better. So, any given day, those might switch, but this one I think is a hair better. Falling into Infinity, I've gathered more appreciation over time for. It is not a bad album. I like the demos better. Before they kind of made it more, radio friendly, quote unquote. It's not really radio friendly, but it's more tending towards that direction anyway. And then The Astonishing is, for Dream Theater anyway, trash, but in terms of like music in general, it's still pretty darn good. So, I mean, do I go back to this album at all? No. Do I have a few of the songs on my shuffle? Yeah. So if they come up, I'll be like, oh yeah, that song. That's from that album. But, that's pretty much it. I feel like this is a fair ranking. If you have your own ranking, or, you want to comment on what you think should be different here and why, I am totally down to hear what you have to say. I feel like this is just a good conversation topic. We all love good music. And this band obviously is extremely good music, so I just, I kind of like doing these tier videos to see what everyone else thinks and to kind of put my idea out there on the interwebs for everyone to kind of see and think about it themselves. So, I hope you enjoyed tonight, or today, whenever you're watching. It's really late at night for me. I'm going to be going to bed right after this. So, have a great day, and as always, rock on, folks. Later.